Everyone. I'm Eric. I am the Barmy Farmer from the Garden of Apologies. Welcome back to Pepper School. This is episode 6. Okay, on today's episode, let me show you what I've got. Well, first, let me turn the camera on you here so you can see. I've got marbles. There's Bruce. There's Igor. So, it's always cat time here at the Garden of Apologies. But for pepper time, today we have a Chernobyl Jalapeno. Love that pepper. Also, we've got a little guy called Quickfire. We've got a Tunisian Baklouti. Purple UFO. We have a completely off pheno red bubblegum pepper. And we have a scrinkly little peach ghost. So these are today's peppers. Let's get right on it. I've got some notes because I'm growing 102 types of peppers this year in the Garden of Apologies. So it's good to have a few crib notes on stuff just to make sure I don't blank on what I'm saying to you when I'm here talking to you on the camera. So let's start off with the Chernobyl Jalapeno. This is one of my favorite peppers I've been growing for a few seasons now. I got my original seeds from Refining Fire down in the States. It's Jim Duffy's company. He got these seeds from a friend in Denmark named Jess, who doesn't recall where the seeds came from, other than it being a grower in Italy. So this is it's an annuum pepper of Italian origin, but the history on it has been lost. And it's sort of a peculiar name calling it the Chernobyl Jalapeno, because it doesn't quite look like a jalapeno. It doesn't really taste like a jalapeno, and it has essentially no heat. So let's just get right on into it and see what we have. I will start with the long incision. This is a terrific sweet pepper. I've grown it now, as I said, a few seasons, and it has become one of my garden staples. It's a very useful, very versatile pepper. Let me just show you what I'm doing down here. There we go. We'll give it that slice open. Let's see where we are. Big open cavity in there. Lots of seeds. You've got the pith running down the center like you expect on these long, slender peppers. And yeah, there we go. Got kind of a bell pepper smell to it. And again, it being a sweet pepper, I'm virtually no risk here. Lovely pepper. I really like this one. That's it. No heat. Sweet red bell pepper. Oddly enough called the Chernobyl Jalapeno. Excellent pepper. This is a terrific pepper to use for making hot sauce because it's got that nice sweetness, a hint of that tropical flavor, and it provides a terrific texture to a sauce. Let's be happy about it. Next up, let's see what's on us. What's next? It's going to be the Tunisian Baklouti. This is a pepper I'm particularly excited about this year. It's also a smiley pepper. I got my seeds from Baker Creek. It's a particularly good company down in the States. But the Baklouti is, well, Tunisian. That's right, the Tunisian Baklouti. It's from North Africa. It's an annuum pepper running about 1 to 5,000 Scoville heat units. So it's milder than a jalapeno. But traditionally, it's the pepper that's used in a harissa sauce. So this year might be the year I make a harissa. And just because I know some of you might appreciate this, let me just pan over and show you the tree cats. We got some weird looking squirrels out here in the Garden of Apologies. But back to the Baklouti. Let's get this guy open, see what we have here. All right. So, Chernobyl Jalapeno out of the way. And for the big reveal, oh, that is a juicy pepper. Look at that. See the shine there? That is a juicy pepper. Let's bust her open, and there we go. Nice thick-walled. Not dissimilar to the Chernobyl jalapeno we've been through. It's got definitely a bell pepper kind of smell to it. And let me get myself a chunk here. The piece down near the end, I didn't really catch a lot of heat from it. So I'm going to take another chunk up from near the calyx. Hey, it's got a nice bell flavor. Just a tickle of heat there. A bit of sweetness. So far, it's starting to creep just a little bit, but it's a minimal heat, at least for my palate, and it's got predominantly a red bell pepper kind of feel to it. So we'll see how harissa comes together and see what I get when I've got a batch of these peppers I can bust up. But there we go, the Tunisian Baklouti, the North African annuum. All right, let me get myself a little sip of water. I have my coffee as well, just in case, but I'm not going to use that. And I have a third cup, but that's for cat food. It's always cat time here at the Garden of Apologies. All right, so that's my water. What do you want to feel? What are you feeling next? How about the purple UFO? This is a nice pepper that came out of the States a few years ago. It's considered an ornamental pepper. It grows with a nice dark purple foliage, and the pods come out with a UFO kind of shape. And they come out dark purple. You can see sort of the remnants of the purple blush up on the top of the pod here, but it has ripened up nicely to this kind of a golden yellowy red. Golden yellowy red. There we go. I'm going to throw 3 different colors at you. That's a Canadian thing. Yeah, no, for sure. All right, let's get her. So, other peppers out of the way. Let's focus on our UFO. Awesome. Oh, bonus guy. I've got an alien right up here. There it is. There's my alien. There you see. See a bit of the purple around the edge of the skin there. Let me pan you back up here. So the purple around the edge of the skin. Got a bit of a purple coming down the pith on the inside, so it's retaining that color. And sometimes peppers will grow these little nodules inside. And this one's coming out nice and purple. There we go. Nodule. I just shot myself with a seed. There. Let's get a shot of this pepper, see how we are. Just double checking. I got my seeds from Atlantic Pepper Seeds out in, I think they're Halifax, but they're at pepperseeds.ca. And this runs 30 to 45,000 Scoville heat units. So we're stepping ourselves up here. So, although this is it's an ornamental pepper, it doesn't have quite the floral taste that you expect from a lot of ornamental peppers. I get a little hint of apple right up front, just on the crunch. And then with an annuum heat that kind of comes out, fills the mouth, and I feel it resonant around my tongue and on the side of the mouth here where I was chewing it. So not a particularly hot pepper, but it's a beautiful pepper to grow. It's got it's a good ornamental garden decoration with that purple foliage, these really groovy looking pods. And that little hint of apple taste is going to make it a functional pepper as well as an ornamental pepper. Hello, Igor. There we go. Seems like I do all these videos here with Igor in my lap, or at least part of it. He is a sweet fella. So what are you feeling next? Little guy? How about a Quickfire? So this was it came out from a company called Tozer Seeds this last year. There's a group in the States called All American Selections. Oh, knock it off. Igor likes to chew my zipper. He's eating my pocket here. So from All American Selections, this was the 2022 winner in the vegetable category. And again, from Tozer Seeds. It's a Thai style pepper, and it's an F1. So I don't know what will come from this, but they're little squat, dinky little plants. And as you see with a lot of these little pods, you've got a whole cluster of seeds packed in there. So it's almost form-fitting to the outer shell. And the seeds are not always pleasant to eat. So I'll just scrape out this half a pepper and see how we do. So Quickfire, it's a Thai-style pepper. Excuse me. Named Quickfire because ostensibly it will ripen quickly in a Canadian climate or American climate for the All-American Selections. Okay. An initial little piece of sweetness there, and then kapow. I get a mouthful of floral, bitter, slightly unpleasant heat. So this pepper may ferment nicely into something. So it sits about 40,000 Scoville heat units. And in case I forgot it, the purple UFO sort of hits about 30 to 45,000. So it's I'm not really sure how I'm going to use this pepper because it's got that floralness to it that although the heat is respectable, the flavor that goes with it isn't particularly pleasant. So if I can get something that captures that front end sweetness, maybe with a bit of fermentation to change the flavor a little bit, I can offset that sort of harsh flowery flavor and come up with something good. We'll see what we can do. But at least for now, I've developed a little bit of back head sweat, which is nice because today is kind of cold and kind of crummy. About 12 degrees out now. September 12th, I believe today. No, it's the 13th. I have lost a day. September 13th. So what are you feeling next? Peach Ghost. We all know the ghost pepper. There's not a whole lot of difference. Oh, a spider in there. Clean that out. Not a whole lot of difference between the different cultivars. Ghost peppers are pretty much ghost peppers with a moderate change in flavor based on the color. I find that the lighter the pod is, generally the sweeter and fruitier it is. The darker the pod is, generally it's a little hotter. Oh, right up on the roof now, squirrel cats. But the darker pods tend to be a little more earthy, sometimes a little more bitter or floral, and certainly hotter. So if you're gauging the heat of a pepper based on color, all right, spider's out. We're good. It sort of goes from white to yellow to peach to orange to red to a purple, and then chocolate tends to be the... I don't know if it's always the hottest, but it certainly comes across as being the hottest based on the consistency of the flavor and that sort of slight earthy bitterness you get with it. But the Peach Ghost, this is a chinenses. We all know the ghost pepper, and the Peach Ghost is a naturally occurring color variation. A lot of these peppers just sort of mutate on their own, and suddenly you've got a new pepper. So ghost peppers will peak about 1 million Scoville heat units. I'll show you what I'm doing here on my skeleton cat plate. It's always cat time in the Garden of Apologies. And here we go. Split the pot open. There's a tiny bit of discoloration you see down here at the tip end. But that's not mold or anything that's gone off with it. It's just a little dusting of seeds that didn't really form. So let's get into the Peach Ghost. We did the White Ghost last week. So let's see if the peach ghost is going to punch quite as hard. Oh, here comes Marbles. Hey, bud. Mmm. Fruity. Is there a hint of peach there? And here comes the floral and the heat. Ooh. Yeah. That's it. That's the ghost pepper. Whew. Lot of floral on the back end there. But the front was very nice. It did have a hint of a peach flavor. I don't know if I'm connecting that because of the flavor. I'm sorry, because of the color and the name of the pepper into that peach flavor. But I do feel like I tasted some peach there. And I've now got the building creeper heat. Ghost peppers. There we go. Ah, man, it is allergy season. You probably can't see the goldenrod just behind me off camera here, but it is allergy season, and I relish that little bit of opening up. Okay, so this is our sixth and final pepper we're doing today. This is a completely off pheno red bubblegum pepper. Normally the bubblegum peppers, they're almost a defining characteristic is that they have a large calyx. So the base of the flower spreads over the end of the pepper, and the color of the pepper ripens up the calyx. So normally if you have a preferred pheno bubblegum pepper, you've got almost like a triangular little, not really triangular, I suppose, like three almost rectangular flaps that come down the head here. And they usually extend down, I'd say, about a half a centimeter, 5 millimeters, and they do take on the color right up the stem. This is completely off pheno. It is a red bubblegum pepper, but the pod isn't coming out with the expected shape. And that happens a lot with a lot of the hybrid peppers, where they're not completely stable. I mean, the Carolina Reaper is still a crapshoot of what kind of pheno you're going to get. But it is what it is. Let's do her. So this was developed by John Harper in the United Kingdom. It's a bit up in the air what the original genetics were, but the most common suggestion I found is that it's a cross between, you've heard this before, a Moruga scorpion and a yellow seven-pot. I believe that's the same genetic behind the seven-pot Primo and the Carolina Reaper. But this is it's the red bubblegum. So we're going to finish with a bang today. They sit sort of about 1.8 million Scoville heat units. So this is going to be a good breakfast for me. All right. So there's the slice. And we've seen a lot of this today. A lot of the very similar long, narrow red pods. Big pith down the center. Nice bundle of seeds there. Ooh. Man, it smells like a combination of bubblegum and perfume. And again, I don't know if that's just me taking a suggestion based on the flavor or based on the pod name of what the flavor smells like. But we'll see. All right, let's do it. I regret this already. 7-pot bubblegum. Oh, yeah. Oh, that's a nice pod. I've been growing these for a few years. They haven't always come out very well, because the Garden of Apology sometimes is a crapshoot based on where I plant things. One issue I have there is that when the old church I live in was built in 1888, it came with a drive shed. So under the main part of the garden at the front of the property, there is the foundation of a drive shed. If I dig down too far, I start running into boulders and mortar, and that does affect some of the root growth, and hence the crapshoot. But this year's crop is looking pretty good. The pod had a delicious front end fruitiness on it, fruitiness. It was definitely a good heat. So I'm definitely feeling the effects of that. Excuse me. Good scalp sweat going on here. There we go. Good times. But that is it's a very fruity pod. Again, I don't know if it's just suggestion, me connecting these dots, but there's a hint of a bubblegum flavor there, like the Hubba Bubba Bazooka Joe kind of bubblegum that tasted pretty good for maybe 35 seconds. That time between where you were able to chew that rock hard piece of brick enough that it would break down and you'd be able to chew it like gum for that 35 seconds while you're reading the comic. And then you spit them both out. That's the front end flavor I've got, with a bit of the slight floral on the back end, but for the most part, that was a very, very nice pepper. So, noted, they may make it into a batch this year. And with that 1.8 million Scoville heat units, who knows? Maybe I throw them into Chernobyl. Anyway, this has been Pepper School. I'm Eric. I am the Twitch and Kitchen Magician from the Garden of Apologies. No, dang it. I am the see, I've got a capsaicin brain here, so I'm all goofy now. Twitch and Kitchen Magician from Sorry Sauce. But I'm also the Barmy Farmer from right here at the Garden of Apologies. So please like or follow or share or comment or do whatever it is you're doing. And thank you very much for watching. All right, I'm going to go get myself a tissue. This has been a good day. Thank you again for watching Pepper School.